What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Okay, it is Friday, April 10th, day 36. Um, yeah, let me go through the updates for today. Hmm. Sorry, I'm reading stuff, so I'm trying to see if I can use AI to start creating diagrams, like a Miro board. So I'm just reading into what the process would look like. That's literally all I use ChatGPT for these days. Is just for research. So I'm eventually gonna get rid of my premium subscription. But I got if I paid $20, then I can get the next month for free. Because I tried to cancel it and they were like, no, don't cancel. It's gonna be free next month. So I was like, okay, I'll wait till that and then after that I'm gonna cancel. Um okay. So today what I wanted to talk about now I don't think I'm gonna talk about something every single day. But I think today specifically it's a little bit more relevant because I'm meeting a friend very soon. So um I just wanted to talk about business 10101, which is what I think about when I if I'm starting a new business, a new offer, whatever. This is what I'm thinking about. So I'm going to move the camera and show you exactly what I'm talking about. By the way, my bed looks like a mess, and I have absolutely nothing to say for myself. Okay, so as you can notice, baby, my thing is gone. I used to have I'll just leave it like that. I used to have a desk right here, but it's gone. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of cool that my mic is like this detachable mic because if it was like the shotgun mic, then it would be hard to do segments like this where I come up out of my seat and tell you a bunch of stuff. So, first, I'm going to actually clean this, or rather, redo it. Okay, cool. Now I can delete all this. delete, erase. Awesome. Okay. So here, okay. Let me actually, I need to like change. Let me see if I can make this like a 1x thing going on. This is all, by the way, like part of the stream. Okay, I think that's good because I'm just like right here. Cool. Let me see if I can like make it so that. Yeah, I think that's fine. No, because there's so much space over there. I actually don't like that. Alright. That's fine. We could probably get it a little bit better. I'll take this. Alright, whatever. Okay, so Business 101, right? This is for absolute complete beginners. If you're trying to start a business, this is what I have learned along the way that gets me up and running to like to striving for profitability on day one. So these are the exact steps that you can take and the exact things that you need to know in order to get all of that. So the first thing you need to keep in mind is that there are only 3 ways to get customers. The first is content. The second is ads. And the third is outreach. Now, for each of these has their pros and cons, but when you are taking these into account, what the biggest thing that the biggest factor that you're going to consider, at least for you as a human being, is what do you want to invest? Do you want to invest your money or do you want to invest your time, right? So in addition, there are 2 things that you can invest. Or technically it's like 3 things, but like really it's 2 because they're all kind of derivatives. So the first thing you can invest, like we already established, is money, and the second thing you can invest is time. Now, you can also invest other people's money and other people's time, but in order to invest other people's money and other people's time, you need to have money to do that. So that's you investing your money so that you can invest other people's money and other people's time. Or that's you investing your money so that you can invest other people's time, right? And then if you want to invest other people's money, then you have to invest your time because you need to be able to talk to them to get them to jump on board with you with whatever it is you're doing. So taking into account that there's only 2 ways that you can invest, or 2 things that you can invest, right, in a business. You can either invest your money or your time, right? Obviously, there's a cap. Everything is limited. We only have 24 hours in a day, and like about 8 of it is sleeping. So we only have about 16 hours for work. That's max. That is our maximum. That's our cap. For money, your cap is literally whatever is in your bank account, right? And the amount that you can bring in relative to how much you can spend. So that is your obvious cap there. So everything is limited. Everything has a cap, but these are your only 2 resources, is money and time. Okay, cool. So taking that into account, you're going to figure out which of these you want to do depending on what you're willing to invest. So if you want to do content, content is very time heavy, but it's very cheap to make, cheap to produce, depending on the kind of content you make. But in general, anyone can pick up a phone and just start filming. If you have a camera, you can pick up a camera and just start making things. So this has the easiest barrier to entry. It's like cheapest. It's cheapest, easiest, but it's more time intensive. Time. It's super time intensive. But anyone can do it, right? But the question here then becomes like, how long are you willing to wait for this to work? Because you can wait a year. Oops. You can wait 1 year before you see anything from the content that you've made. It can be quick. You can wait 2 months, right? But it's unknown the amount of time you're going to wait, but you will wait. Like that is one thing that is known for sure, is that you will wait. Obviously, luck exists, right? You can get super lucky and you can make your first video and sign your first client within like 3 weeks of each other, but that is very unlikely. The more likely scenario is that if you are making the right kinds of content, because there's also a high learning curve too. But I guess technically all of these kind of have a high learning curve depending on who you are and where you come from. But if you're making the right kinds of content, most likely it's going to take at least 3 to 4 months of consistent posting on average before you start to see a return from that content. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing to keep into account. The next thing we have is ads. Now, the thing with ads, especially if you're doing them yourself. So I'm going to assume that, like, if you're starting, this is you starting a business yourself. Ads are very time intensive because if you're doing ads the right way, every day or every other day, you are generating new ad creatives and you are testing them out on a continuous basis. So if it's just you, like I said, you have to then sit down and make those ad creatives. If it's just you, like I said, you have to sit down and press the buttons and do the tests and do all the stuff in the ad manager. But the most like the biggest time sink in terms of your ads are gonna be your creatives, like making those creatives. That's going to be the biggest time sink. If not for the creatives, I would say that it's like about, the same. But like you need as many creatives as possible. And so that takes a lot of time. It also takes a lot of money because you need at least, I think the number I heard someone throw around was $250 per day, which is about times 5, that's like 1 point. So that's almost like 4 grand, like just about 5 grand a month, basically. You need about 5 grand a month in ad spend. 5K per month. And there's not too many beginners who have that starting out. So this is really tough. And for this reason, I would say people should not do ads. And then also, also another thing is that, so the difference, okay, I'm just gonna write, right? Watch this. It also takes time. Everything takes time on this list. But the difference between this time and this time is that this time is unpredictable. But this time it's kind of both. It's both predictable and unpredictable. Here's why. But it's more predictable than this. I guess technically these are both predictable and unpredictable. We'll get to them. But it's more predictable than content because content, you don't know. Like I said, you can make your first video and land your first sale like 3 weeks after your first video. But for ads, you have something called, you need to understand something called a sales cycle. So that means, what a sales cycle means is that let's say we have a usual timeline, right? So this point right here is the first contact. And this point right here is when they get the sale. Depending on what you sell, your sales cycle could be long or short. Typically, it's like depending on how easy it is for the customer to buy it, then that tells you how long or short your sales cycle is, based on my experience. So, like for example, I can see an ad today for, and obviously like some other factors come into play as well here. But let's say I see an ad today for Five Guys, right? I see the ad for Five Guys. Whoops. Okay. So I see the ad for Five Guys on my TV today, right? And then the next day, I'm driving home from work and I see Five Guys. And I'm like, oh, I just saw the Five Guys commercial. That food looks so good. Like, let me go get some Five Guys. And then I buy Five Guys the next day. That is a sales cycle of one day. It only took me one day from watching the commercial to buying their product. Five Guys can do that because they don't have sales calls. They don't have calls where they're trying to, meet with people and stuff like that. So they can do that. But your business is most likely, like, you're most likely not selling something that's $20. And if you are, then you should probably reconsider. But your business will likely have a longer sales cycle, especially if you're selling something that requires people to jump on a call. So if you're selling something high ticket, you want to sell like premium products is the ultimate goal here. I'm not here to talk about pricing, but I'm just going to assume that you are selling a premium product, something that is high ticket that costs more than $2,000, or that costs like more than $1,000, I'll say, even though like that's kind of mid ticket, some would say. But if what you're selling costs more than $1,000, I'm gonna call that high ticket, and a lot of times requires a sales call. So no one is going to see your ad and then the next day just buy it. That's just not how that works. They'll see your ad on the first day. They might see your ad on like the fifth day. And then maybe they're like, okay, fuck it, book a call on the seventh day. That call happens on the 10th day, right? They book it like 3 days out. On that call on the 10th day, they don't close because they have questions or whatever. So then they go back, they keep watching your content, they keep seeing your ads, and then eventually they interact with your salesperson again, right? So let's say this is like day 14. After they interact with your salesperson, or you, right? Because this is for beginners. So after they interact with you again and ask you questions and all that stuff, then they book another call. And this is I don't know, fucking like 20. They booked the call. And then they say, okay, like, give me one more day. So you bam fam, you book a call from a call. That's what bam fam means, by the way. And then let's say day 23, they book a call and then you have the sale, right? That is what a typical sales cycle looks like. So if you're not willing to burn $250 a day for a minimum of, typically it's about 21 days, then don't do it. You have to be okay with spending $5,000 in a month and not making a single penny back, essentially lighting the money on fire. You have to be perfectly fine with that. And that, like, a lot of people just don't have it like that, especially if they're starting a business up like this first. So that's why I would not recommend that beginners get into ads. It is a very complex industry and it requires a lot of know-how and a lot of knowledge. And this sales cycle, by the way, is the same for all three of, like, well, for like, it's the same basically. It's like constant. But for content, the thing about content is that it helps people move through the sales cycle faster. So it can condense your sales cycle. You'll find that if you have people who book calls from content, like, they're going to be sold already. All this back and forth that they're doing with you and asking you about things about your service and stuff like that, that's not going to be an issue. A lot of times it'll take one or two calls for you to be able to close them on that call. Like, they might even be ready on the first call, and they just use that call as a formality. So, because of the sales cycle, I typically urge people to stay, especially beginners, specifically beginners. If you have money that you can use and burn, then by all means. But if you are a beginner, then I urge you to stay away from ads, um, because of the investment and the sales cycle. If, like I said, if you have the money to do this, then do it, learn it, that's fine. But you need to make sure that you need to at least be making 30K per month, right? Because if you're making 30K per month, you light 5K on fire this first month, like, it's not, it's a lot of money, but it's not a big deal. You light 5K on fire the next month, it's a lot of money, not a big deal. It's going to take sometimes about 3 months before you get your bearing, especially since you're a beginner and especially if you're not getting help from anybody. It takes a long time. And finally, the last thing is outreach. So, outreach, I would say, does not take that much time and it does not take that much money either. And so, for this reason, I'm sure you can guess what I would recommend that most people start with, which is outreach. So, you can outreach to your network. You can outreach to your network. You can outreach to new people. And that's basically it. Like, either you know them or you don't know them. So, obviously, if you can, start with your network because they are what's called warm leads. And I really hope I'm not talking down on whoever is listening, but warm leads are basically people who already kind of know you. That's basically what warm leads are. If you do new people, they're cold leads, which means they don't know you, so you have to get them sold on who you are, right? You have to get them sold on why you are the right person to solve their problem. So it's harder to reach out to new people. So if you can, do your network first. If you can't, then go on to new people. Um, it doesn't require money. There are ways to automate outreach. So you can do, like, the outreach methods can be like, let me change my marker. Outreach methods can be email, can be SMS, so like text messages. It can be like social media. It can be, I think that covers like the main ones, honestly. Like, obviously, you could cold call, and I'm pretty sure that's like it for the main one. So those are the main ones. So email, SMS, social media. So like all social media forms, I put them all under that umbrella. So like, LinkedIn, that's a social media. Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Social media. Cold call, obviously, you just call their business. Those are like the main outreach forms, and anyone can do that. You can, if you want to. So the thing is, right? The thing is, content is one to many, which is good. Ads is one to many, which is also good. Um, well, I would say it's one to many. It's like 1 to 1/1 to many, but like if you put more money in it, you can scale it up. So technically, it's like it depends. Because sometimes if you like double your ad spend, you can like 3x your like whatever ROAS you have, you can like 3x it or something like that. So it's not like entirely scalable, but sometimes if you double your ad spend, it like slashes your ROAS in half. So it really depends. Um, but I would say that it has the opportunity to be one to many and to be like very scalable. Outreach is 1 to 1, meaning you as the founder, you as a person, you're taking your phone and you're emailing this person. You're emailing one person. You're not going to email like 10 different people all at once and make it 10 different people, because you need to make it seem like personalized, like you are reaching out to them for a certain reason. You are taking your phone and you're texting one person. You are going on social media and DMing one person. You are picking up your phone and calling one person. So it's 1 to 1. And that's like, if you want to increase it to be one to many, now you have to pour in more time and you have to pour in more money. I would say this is 1 to 1, honestly. But in terms of like degree, like on a scale, this is 1 to 1. This is 1 to many. Obviously, content is over here. We have outreach over here, and then we have ads in the middle over here. So just wanted to confirm that it's, even though, and I know my handwriting is ugly, so you probably can't understand it, but even though it's 1 to 1, it's more so like in the middle of the spectrum. So again, we have the spectrum, 1 to 1, 1 to many. We have outreach over here. We have ads in the middle, 1 to 1 technically, but kind of 1 to many. And then we have content at the end, which is 1 to many. So when you're making content, you're not going to say, hey, Bill, like, welcome to your YouTube video, even though you can. And if anyone out there is named Bill, then welcome to this YouTube video. But you're talking to an entire group of people, because typically a lot of people see your content. So 1 to 1, it's good. But if you want to scale it, then obviously you need to invest money so you can scale it and make it 1 to many, right? By things like by campaigns, like emails, SMS, and then social media. So if you get campaigns, you can literally add email campaigns, SMS campaigns, social media campaigns, stuff like that. And you can scale it up. But as a beginner, this is literally it's the freest one, and it is the fastest one. And that's all that you need to know. So for most people starting a business, I would recommend that they do outreach first. Outreach first. And then once you get like a constant rhythm, a constant schedule behind your outreach, then you can start making content and putting that out consistently. But you need to be doing outreach first and having like a set amount of volume that you do every single day. Set amount of volume, set amount of follow up. Like, that's super important. So once you have all this down, right? going to erase this. Should I? I will. Once you have all this down, cool. So once you have all this down, then it is important that you come up with this thing called an offer. Everybody needs an offer. And if you don't know this, this right here is the singular best book when it comes to offers. So if you have not read this book, you need to go and read that book. But everybody needs an offer. And the point of an offer is not to, when you're saying your offer, you're not making a contract to them. It's not like a verbal contract. All you're doing is giving them something that's worth it for them to get on the phone. That is the entire point and purpose of making an offer. So this is so unsustainable. After this, I'm done, bro. I'm done with this shit. Well, I'm not done, but like I'm not gonna do it every single day because like maybe I'll just do it on the weekends because it's like 6 a.m. and I don't anticipate how long this video is gonna be. Cool. So, fuck it. I'll just say it because this is for a friend. That's why I'm making this video. I don't know if I said that already, but my friend wants to start a business and like she wants my help with like for her to start her business. So I'm literally explaining everything that I've learned in my business journey that will help her. But if you want to make money as fast as possible, if you're like depending on what you're selling, it would make sense to either so you can either sell B2B or you can sell B2C. The benefit of B2B is that they buy higher ticket, right? There are many benefits and disadvantages, but the ones that I'm going to talk about as to why I think it makes more sense to sell B2B right now, especially as a new business owner, is because they tend to buy higher ticket, so they tend to buy more expensive items, and then also they tend to like churn a lot of times is lower, but it depends honestly. But sometimes like churn tends to be like lower than B2C. If you're doing B2C, there are advantages. Like for example, it's if you like scale to like 10K per month with a B2C business and like you have subscriptions that cost let's say like $50 a month, right? If you lose one person, it's not the end of the world. But if you scale 10K per month with B2B, if you lose one person, that's like 2 grand that you've lost, which is like 80% of your business. So pros and cons, but B2B is typically what we're after because if you want to make money the fastest way, right, to scale to 10K per month with $50 subscriptions is going to take a lot and it's going to take a long time. But to scale to 10K per month with $2,000 a month subscriptions is only going to take like, it's not only, but it's going to take less time and less effort to do that than to do this, right? And then it's more scalable because if you want to double it, you know how to double it. If you want to double it, then obviously less effort. Cool. So my friend, just to give you like what the situation is, she wants to start a bakery, but it's like a ghost kitchen bakery. So she doesn't have like overhead. She doesn't have her own place, which is good because she doesn't have any customers. She doesn't know how she's gonna get her first few customers. And like there's just nothing. So I said, okay, cool. Let's think about this. First of all, what is our offer? Like, what is there are many ways that you can advertise your business. I just went over it. Content ads and outreach gotten from gotten from this book right here. $100 million leads. I've not finished it, but it is a great book. I have my thing stuck in here. I think that was my bookmark. But yeah, it's a great book. It tells you how to do it all, basically, like the principles behind everything. It's a principles based book, same as offers. So it is great. But that's like all the principles were from that book. But anyway, that's an accident. I just drew on myself. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, let's think about this. What ways can we advertise? And I told her all the ways. I was like, okay, you can do outreach. That'll probably be like, that would be what I recommend for you. I told her that on the spot. I said, because she was trying to run ads, she was trying to do outreach, she was trying to like do all this stuff. And I was like, you need to just pick one, especially if it's just you in the beginning. And especially if you have another job, you need to just pick one and go all in on it. So for her, she said, we're doing outreach. Okay, cool. Who are we outreaching to? We're outreaching to businesses, right? Okay, cool. What offer are we making them now? That is now the question. Technically, you pick the business, then you pick like the outreach method, but it doesn't matter. I figured that because whatever. Then you pick the offer, right? This is now the important question. This is the important question. So, she has, like I said, bakery. What can you offer to businesses as a bakery that'll make it impossible for them not to buy? You want to do like a lot of samples. Another one is work event. So you can offer to cater the desserts for a work event for free. Like just do that for free. And I will almost guarantee you that if you do that, then you will close them in some capacity. Like they will want to work with you, especially if they have money. So you can give them samples. You can give them catering for a free work event. This is going to have low conversions. This is going to have higher conversions, right? This is B2B. I also came up with like B2C offers, and one is like samples again, free samples. So you're standing like on the corner of like something or some event. You offer free samples in exchange for emails, in exchange for their email, start a newsletter, stuff like that. But obviously, if you're selling B2C, you need to like $50 subscriptions versus $2,000 subscriptions. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit different. But the purpose is just to come up with something that gets them. And this isn't even a real offer, by the way. This is not a real offer because what you need, like for the offer, you need like the risk reversal. I mean, this right here is an offer. Like I will cater your first work event for free. That's an offer because like nobody's doing that, and like it's free. There's no risk to them. So yeah, that's it. Not gonna go through like the intricacies of how to make an offer, but I will say that it is one of the most important parts of your business, which is what can I tell these people to get them on the phone? That's not lying. That's legal. That I'm willing to do. That's what you need to think about when you make an offer. And so like if you're doing free samples and do that, if you're saying, "Hey, I promise that like if you work with me, like let's say for the bakery, right? I know that this is a gym, so therefore these fudge brownies can be rewards for your customers, and they can eat as much as they want without gaining weight, and you get the first batch for free. Like that's a great offer. That's an offer. So just study offers. I'm gonna put this back. Study offers as much as possible, and that's that. I think I covered everything. This is what I'm gonna go through. Um, I'm gonna go through with her when I see her today. So you guys get the first scoop. But yeah, that's it. See ya. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what this is, I can't tell you. You're gonna have to watch the streams. I can't tell you, bro. All right. I don't know if I'm gonna post that fucking video, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. Okay. Let's get to work, bro. I am not the biggest fan of. I think I'm gonna change that. No content, no recording content for this channel during the week. If I want to record content for this channel, it's only during the weekend. I think that'll be better because it's like 6:20 now. That was like a 30-minute video, bro. Like it's just insane. It is insane. But it was a very insightful video. Like if I watched that, my first before like I started anything, that video would be super helpful for me, I think. Like obviously I can't give away like every single thing that I know because not for the fact that like I'm trying to gatekeep, but for the fact that like I just physically cannot do it in the amount of a lot of time that I have. But if I could, I would, and I probably will eventually give away every single thing that I know. Make time out for it. I want to do it in the right way. Um, but anyway, I'm gonna get to work because it's been it's been a morning. So really quick, I guess before I do get to work, let's go through my my warm up. Um, I just have a lot of training, like sales training. I was supposed to do that yesterday, I didn't do that. And then also I had to blur out something yesterday, which is fine that I didn't do that yesterday because nobody watches these anyway. So let us go to I'm gonna go to my channel. There we go. And then we're going to fix it. So I think it's set. Oh wait, not this one. Okay, cool. Minutes. I literally have it here in my notes. 58. Cool. Let's see. YouTube's editor is like kind of doo doo though. Oh, okay. Okay. And this over here. Cool. All right. Just completed that. Um, I'm gonna cancel that out. Didn't want to carry that over. So this is the only thing that I have to do here. Is like the training, sales training. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Okay, cool. This I think I said I was gonna do like that was on Sunday, so I'm just gonna delete that. Let's see. Training. I'm gonna do this over the weekend. I'm gonna do that over the weekend. Okay, cool. So now I think the main thing for me is just to like I'm planning out a specific cinematic video for a prospect of mine. So, bro, my bed like looks like a mess, bro. Like I promise, I'm normal, guys. I promise. Um, I think I did. I did do an additional. Let me see. Let's see. Yes, I did film this guy's thing. So I have like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 done. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is in the archives, the drafts. So this weekend is important for me to figure out how to actually like automate the sending with SmartLead, which is a goal. So we'll do that. But for today, the main goal is to produce the loom and like make sure. So by produce, I mean like I need to film, or produce means like I need to like solidify exactly what it is I'm saying, what's going to be in it, stuff like that. I have a draft, but there's nothing that's like solid and set in stone. So that is the goal for today. I'm fixing one of my things. Okay, cool. Let me make sure that I put it back. Okay. Awesome. All right. I'm going to hop off the mic, but I will still be here. I'm just going to focus and talk to you at the end maybe. Today, I guess, was kind of like a yappy day. But yeah, I'm not doing these videos anymore during the week. So, also, another thing I wanted to kind of talk about is my new schedule, perchance. So, I'm going to go to a new calendar. Okay, let's go to kind of use ideal week. Let's see here. I have to like get that out of the way. Boom, boom. Awesome. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, so let me add my window. This is the last thing, so okay. Not making the same mistake as before. There we go. Cool. You know what? I'm just gonna low-key just gonna delete this. And then I'm gonna copy this. I don't know. I want it to be like literally the same. Oh, it's not gonna let me copy it? Bro, are you serious? Are you serious? Okay. Whatever. I'll take whatever it is I can get. I think this is fine. Okay. So this is my ideal week. I did an exercise one day, and like this is what ideally I want my week to look like, which is like I sleep from 9, wake up at 5 during the winter, that is. And then I do deep work from, I think, yeah, I do deep work from 5 to 9. Is this my ideal week or is this my current week? I don't even know anymore. But this was like, I think this is like my current week, maybe. Maybe ideal? I don't know. But here's what I want my week to look like moving forward. I'm actually gonna make a new calendar. That's not what. Hold on. Okay. New ideal week. Okay, so this is a blank calendar. Let's fill it out together. So I told you about what the ideal week looked like. Now, with my new calendar, the problem with my ideal week is that my morning started at 5 a.m. or my day started at 5 a.m. And that's fine, but it's about to be summer, which means in order for me to get a 5 a.m. start, that means I have to be in bed by 9 p.m. And over the summer, sometimes the sun doesn't set till 9, which is going to be an issue. So I would love to maximize the amount of time that I see the sunlight. I think that's important for me, just for my happiness. So I'm thinking about moving my wake time to 7:45. Oh, that's not 7:45. To 7:45. So this is what I'm thinking my new routine is going to look like. So I have a meeting at 8 for now. We'll see if we stick with, if like my team sticks with it, but it's more likely going to be 9, and in that case I can push everything back by an hour. So just like take this with a grain of salt, but it's pushed back or forward an hour. So this is going to be day job, right? And then it's going to repeat daily. Cool. Save. Or no, it's going to repeat every weekday. Cool. So this is my day job, 7:45 to 5 p.m., right? Um and I'm sleeping this whole time. So I'm going to put sleep at the bottom, but just know that I'm like sleeping this whole time. Sleep is actually the first thing. So let's say 11 or sleep. It's going to be 11:45 p.m. to 7:45 a.m. Hello. 7:45 a.m. Cool. I think that's 8 hours, right? Yes, that's 8 hours. This is perfect 8 hours of sleep. We're gonna change the color though, blueberry, and make it repeat daily because it's sleep. Everybody needs sleep. I'm gonna move it over here. Cool. Awesome. Okay, so this is when my day starts, right? 7:45. Go to bed at 11:45 at the latest. At the latest. Day job over here. This is going to be like my workout period, which is going to be non-negotiable. So I can go on a walk. I can go to the gym. I can do whatever I want, but I have to do something. And that's going to be like my way of telling my brain, like, okay, I'm done with work. It's time for me to go do something else. So this is going to be during the weekday. Cool. I'm gonna save that. And then after that, from 6:30 to 9:30 is going to be business work. That's also going to be during the weekday. And then from here is going to be shower. This is going to be another thing. So I'm going to make it red as well. But this is going to be another thing that tells my mind like it's time to wind down. So we're going to take a shower. And then finally, this is going to be like my wind down time. And this is also going to repeat every weekday. And this is also going to repeat every weekday. cool. So it looks very monotone, but that's because like I wanted to, I guess, characterize it based on like my mind, where my mind is gonna be at. So it's a soccer game. Anyway, um, so day job, like if I'm working, I'm basically gonna be working for like 10 hours a day, if not more, which is fine. I don't care. Um, and then working out for an hour and a half, and then this is time I can use to do whatever. FaceTime my boyfriend, even though he's probably not gonna be awake by that time. Um, FaceTime my boyfriend, watch YouTube, watch TV, watch whatever, read a book. This is my personal time, which I think is fine. And yeah, like this is what I hope the new routine and schedule will be. I think I might I think I might start it in May. Not anytime not anytime soon. I want to see what this project is like first and see if I'm going to need to do the 7 a.m. wake up. Because if I'm not gonna have to do the 7 a.m. wake up, I can just push everything back. If it's gonna be a 9 a.m. call, then it's just gonna be like that. Everything's gonna be pushed back by an hour. Which honestly, I do think that it might be worth it. It would be better if it was a 7 a.m. wake up. It really would be better if it was a 7 a.m. wake up. So I don't have to sleep at like 12 a.m. to get my full 8 hours. Wind down would literally be from 11:30 to 12:45, and I sleep at 12:45 a.m. That would be not ideal, but I could make it work. I think the toughest part would be doing work from 7:30 to 10:30. That would be tough, but I can make it work. So, yeah, that's the new schedule, new routine that I'm considering. Um, but I'll let you know how it goes and if anything actually ends up changing. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work now and turn off this mic and stop fucking yapping, bro. We all know how much I love a good yap, so I'm gonna stop. It's about that time of the day. Been live for 2.5 hours, almost three actually. 2 hours and 50 minutes. Longer than I intended. Obviously, I had like that, like 30 or 40 minutes was cut out because I was trying to make a video for this channel. Um, and then I was putting out a fire, sort of. Well, yes, I was putting out a fire. I define putting out a fire as like when you do something that you did not plan to do, but you have to do, otherwise, the business cannot move forward. So I was putting out a fire in my business. It wasn't a big one. It was a small one. I fixed one of it, so there's like five. So basically, it was like a domain issue. There are 5 domains. I fixed one out of 5 domains. So I've been putting this off for like as much like as long as I possibly could. And now that I just fixed it, I would literally was just thinking like, damn, like I should have fixed this when it happened, because now there's like concerns with like email deliverability and stuff like that. So I hope it doesn't affect I really hope it doesn't affect my email stuff. Let me actually check. I just let's see here. I really hope it doesn't affect my email stuff. Authentication. We're gonna look at this together. And let's make sure that it is authenticating. Let's see. Okay, cool. Just making sure that my DKIM records are still good. I might have like other tests and stuff that I can run just to make sure that everything is up to par. Um, but yeah, ChatGPT. So okay, so this is my current like LLM setup, right? So what I do is I use Claude for generating copy. Like Claude is amazing at generating copy. And then I use ChatGPT specifically for how to do something. So Claude is not the best at like giving instructions and step by step stuff. I find I find that ChatGPT just does it better. So if I need to know, for example, how can I fix the redirect of my fucking domains, I use ChatGPT. And uh, I did that in congruence with the help agent from Namecheap, which by the way, like I don't know, like I guess this is the price that I pay um to have like cheap cheap stuff, as the name implies. Um so I want to cuz so my next stack, this okay, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to be done and like leave, cuz I keep like obviously finding things to like do, I guess. Let's see here. Let's see here. So, yeah, I'm gonna change to Cloudflare, which is like free basically. Um, and then I'm gonna try it out. I don't know. I don't know if I should try it out or if I should just stick with what I currently have, because what I have is honestly fine. Um, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like what I have right now is a little bit overkill for what I need, but my plan does expire in June. So I'm gonna add it to my calendar to reassess necessity of SiteGround. And then I'm gonna also put it in my warm up and in my calendar. Okay. I fucked with my calendar and now it's being fucking. Okay, let's just. Where's the plus button? Event. Someone's looking for their phone. Okay, that's it. I'm done. See you tomorrow.